Lenny Puthasheri was a nurse working overseas with a husband and 2 kids. Unfortunately, she died on Monday, May 21st after contracting a rare virus called Nipah. At least 10 people have died of Nipah in Kerala, India since the beginning of the month. There are at least 2 more people in critical condition. There is no vaccine. People who are contracted with the disease are staying separated in their homes. The virus is spread by fruit bats, pigs, and human contact. However, the outbreak is suspected to be spread by the bats. Puthasheri was believed to come in contact with the disease after treating Mohammed Sadiq, who was admitted to the hospital with a cold but was later found with the virus.
On Thursday, May 17th, American actress and royal bride-to-be Meghan Markle confirmed that her father, Thomas Markle, would not be attending her royal wedding with Prince Harry. Markle's confirmation ends speculation over whether her 73-year-old father's health would keep him from traveling overseas to the wedding. Markle's father was also wrapped up in a controversy over paparazzi. Thomas was supposed to walk his daughter down the aisle on Saturday, May 19th. Thomas told the news he would not attend the wedding because he would be undergoing heart surgery. Shortly before confirming her father would not be walking her down the aisle.
After the historic meeting with North and South Korea, new problems have arisen. New developments have raised concerns about North Korea's sincerity. North Korea cancelled a meeting with South Korea after objecting to military drills held by the United States and South Korea, drills that were scheduled ahead of time and approved by North Korea. North Korea then threatened to cancel its summit meeting with President Donald Trump if the United States insisted on unilateral nuclear abandonment. North Korean diplomat Kim Kye-kwan rejected the administration's plan to dismantle North Korea's nuclear program in order to not repeat the same mistakes made by Libya and Iraq. Libya denuclearized, which led to its dictator being ousted by the public. Despite North Korea's warnings, some public officials remain certain that the June 12th in Singapore.
An apple a day might keep the doctor away, but an egg a day can keep cardiovascular disease away. A recent study published on Monday, May 21st in the journal Heart suggests that if you eat 1 egg a day, you may become 18% less likely to die from cardiovascular disease. The study suggests that people who followed the egg diet had a 26% lower risk of hemorrhagic stroke and a 12% lower risk of asthmatic disease. Be warned, egg lovers. The study was incomplete due to a small sample size and limited information.
An 18-year-old hostess decided to try vaping. Little did she know that she would end up in the hospital with hypersensitivity pneumonitis, also known as wet lung. The hostess had only been vaping for 3 weeks when she started to feel ill enough to send her to the emergency room. She said she was coughing and had difficulty breathing that got worse by the minute. Dr. Daniel Weiner said that she had respiratory failure. She required a mechanical ventilator to help her breathe and also needed tubes on both sides of her chest to drain fluid from her lungs. The girl was given an IV that treats allergic reactions and was out of the hospital 5 days later.
An Ebola outbreak in Congo threatens to hit a city of Mbandaka, which has a population of 1 million people. A minimum of 45 people have been affected in the outbreak, and an investigation has started into the 25 deaths that have occurred. The outbreak has senior official Peter Salmanga concerned about a large outbreak threatening bigger cities downstream that could affect 10 million people. The WHO, the World Health Organization, says that the outbreak may have started when people attend a funeral of an Ebola victim in Bikoro. The WHO has sent 4,000 doses of experimental vaccines to Kinshasa.
On Wednesday, May 16th, Christopher Lecheski, the CEO of Bumblebee Foods, was charged with conspiring to inflate tuna prices. The federal grand jury connected him with a packaged seafood price-fixing scandal. He was charged with conspiring with other companies between November 2010 through December 2013. Lecheski is the 4th person charged in a federal probe in the food industry. If convicted, Lecheski faces a 10-year prison sentence and a $100 million fine. In 2017, Bumblebee, the makers of the popular canned tuna product, agreed to plead guilty for its role in the scandal and will pay a criminal fine of $25 million.
Facial recognition technology seems to have come to a halt at a roadblock. Police in South Wales had attempted to use cameras linked to criminal databases in order to help identify suspects during large events like sporting events or concerts. That technology was used for the first time at last year's Champions League final. According to the South Wales Police, the facial recognition only succeeded 8% of the time in identifying suspects. This 8% success rate was about the average for the 15 events in which it was used. Out of the 2,685 people that were flagged in the 15 events, only 234 were actual persons of interest. However, the officers have come out in favor of the technology, claiming the numbers of positive matches had led to 450 arrests. The South Wales Police also made it clear that misidentification did not lead to false arrests, and there haven't been complaints from the public. 2 children killed in a street race have been identified. Siblings 6-year-old Dominic Gonzales and 8-year-old Antonio Gonzales were riding in their brother's Nissan Versa when the vehicle was struck by a car coming in front from the opposite side of the road. The relatives said that the 3 brothers were on their way to pick up their young sisters from an after-school program. This incident happened on Tuesday evening in Riverside, California. The driver who hit them is now in custody after being treated at a hospital. The driver was racing hasn't been identified or brought into custody. The family and the police are asking for help to identify the other driver, who was driving a 2000 black Nissan Altima. On Wednesday, May 16, new developments into the Cambridge Analytica scandal were revealed. Cambridge Analytica has been accused of taking users' data and using it to influence the past presidential elections. Christopher Wiley, a whistleblower, stated that the Cambridge Analytica tried to disturb voting among American citizens, especially targeting African Americans. Wiley claimed that Steve Bannon, who was part of President Donald Trump administration before he was ousted, wanted cultural warfare to continue in America. Wiley did not provide any evidence at the time, but he says he has more valuable information to be released. During an interview by CNN, Wiley said that he himself did not participate in the company's shady dealings to affect the election. Wiley testified in front of Congress members when he was asked by Senator Chris Cohn if Bannon's goal was to censor some individuals' votes. Wiley said it was true and that the Russia might have the identities of American voters.
On May 14th, Floyd Mayweather reportedly left a casino with a large amount of winnings. Floyd won a $100,000 jackpot with a royal flush when playing 10-play drawn poker. He also added another $1,250 to his pocket with additional winnings. According to TMZ Sports, he started off with $20,000. The boxer announced his jackpot win on his Instagram story, but did not state the name of the casino.
On Monday, May 14, Frances Bean-Coben lost her father's famous guitar after it was given to her ex-husband Isaiah Silva as a result of their divorce. Kurt Cobain's MTV Unplugged guitar is reportedly worth millions of dollars, and is possibly the last guitar he played before he died. Silva claims Cobain gave him the guitar as a wedding gift. Cobain denies Silva's claim and said her father never planned on giving it away. But Cobain gave up her father's guitar in order to move forward with the divorce. Cobain stated that Silva will not receive anything else from her father's estate, nor will he keep the house she and Silva lived in. On Tuesday, May 15, YouTube star and comedian Nicole Arbour received hate after posting her Woman Said It, a Childish Gambino song, This Is America. Arbour's video was criticized for remaking a video that portrays how blacks are treated in America. Social media users referred her music video as a white woman said it, and she did not understand what Gambino's song was about. Arbour stated that she wanted to honor the spirits of women's life experience and the troubles they face. She said she understood why people saw her video as a white versus black, but that wasn't what she intended. Due to the amount of hate Arbour received on her YouTube page, she disabled the comments section. This is not the first time Arbour has received hate for a video she made. In September of 2015, Arbour made a video called Dear Fat People and said that fat shaming is not a thing.
From China, here's some news about Kunming resident Su Yum, who bought an Asiatic black bear cub about 3 years ago, believing it to be a Tibetan Mastiff dog. Yum's family was surprised at the dog's massive hunger as it ate a box of fruit and 2 buckets of noodles daily. The family finally came to realize their dog was actually a bear with when it reached 250 pounds and started to walk on its hind legs. The family transferred their pet to the Yunnan Wildlife Rescue Center, where the bear will receive the proper care it needs.
The 4-second clip, Yanni or Laurel, has taken over the internet. Ronald Zabo, a high school student in Lawrenceville, Georgia, was the first to post it on Reddit, and the audio clip began to instantly confuse people.
Laurel, 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 Laurel.
Just like the controversy over the color of the dress that sparked a huge debate several years ago, Yanni or Laurel has created a divide on social media. The audio clip, which has a computerized voice saying Laurel, is heard by many as Yanni. Which do you hear?
Laurel, 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 Laurel.
The Social Security Office released the top 10 most popular male and female names on May 15th. The top 10 names were numbered from 1 to 10: Liam, Noah, William, James, Logan, Benjamin, Mason, Elijah, Oliver, and Jacob. The most popular female names were Emma, Olivia, Isabella, Sophia, Mia, Charlotte, Amelia, Evelyn, and Abigail.
Parents Ina Rogers and Jonathan Allen both faced charges for child neglection and abuse. Officers first noticed the disgusting conditions that the 10 children were living in when they returned a child who was reported missing back home sometime in March. The Saleno County District Attorney Office stated that the children ages 4 months to 12 years were tortured and living in inhumane conditions. The children described how they were abused every day, being bitten, punched, hit with bats, and even shot with BB guns. They were even waterboarded with hot water. Roger pleaded not guilty to charges of 9 counts of felony child abuse with a bail of $495,000, while Allen also pleaded not guilty to 9 counts of felony child abuse and 7 counts of torture with a bail of $5.2 million.
Mark Dallas, a resource officer, is being honored as a hero for confronting a school shooter at Dixon High School in Illinois. Officer Dallas shot and wounded the gunman, preventing the shooter from causing any deaths. The gunman is known to be a 19-year-old former student named Matthew Milby. Milby showed up to his former school's graduation ceremony rehearsal. He fired his weapon, a 9mm semi-automatic rifle, and tried to leave the scene. Officer Dallas chased the shooter, returning fire as he was being shot at. Milby's mother, Julie Milby, said that her son was picked on, but she's thankful that no one was hurt or injured by the shooter.
On Thursday, May 17, a 24-year-old man was found in Barking, London by Metropolitan Police after being stabbed in his torso. Local police officers arrived at the scene and provided first aid before paramedics arrived and announced the victim was dead at the scene. The attacker had not been identified and no arrest has been made yet. This incident will be the 60th murder in London for 2018. Metropolitan Police Commissioner Cressida Dick plans to recruit 500 officers using 110 million euros the London mayor provided to reduce crime in London.
On Sunday, May 13th, Isaac Lopez, a teen from Vacaville, California, was shot in the chest near the beach boardwalk in Santa Cruz. Lopez was treated on the scene but later on died at Dominican Hospital. Lopez was in a parked car with 3 others who police say were taken into custody after the shooting. Police said that Javier Calvo, one of the teens who was in the car, was the one who held the gun that shot Lopez. Police believe the shooting was an accident, but they are investigating further. Calvo was taken into Santa Cruz County Jail the day before the death of the 19-year-old. There was a stabbing at the boardwalk. Police believe that the incidents are not related. Jonathan Odie, a 42-year-old from Doral, Florida, who is an anti-Trump, opened fire at a Trump golf resort in Miami, Florida on Friday. He went to the hotel lobby with a flag stolen from a flagpole and he draped over the counter. He then opened fire at the ceiling and the chandeliers. When police came into the lobby, Obi fired at them before trying to escape upstairs. The suspect was shot but is in stable condition. A Doral cop suffered broken bones but was not shot. Officers believe Odie's motive was to draw police into a gunfight. An investigation will involve the FBI, the Secret Service, and the local police.
A Riverside judge overturned the controversial California law that allowed doctors to provide life-ending drugs to terminally ill patients. The law allowed patients to request life-ending drugs if physicians determined that the patient had 6 months or less left to live. Judge Daniel A. Otolia argued that the law was introduced in the wrong forum. This bill was debated as a healthcare issue, and Judge Otolia believes it does not specifically deal with any healthcare services. California's Attorney General Xavier Becerra immediately appealed the decision and hopes that the law will be reinstated. According to a survey conducted by UC Berkeley in 2015, 76% of Californians agree that people with less than 6 months of life should be allowed to choose how they die. Most of the pushback has come from religious groups and other organizations like the Life Legal Defense Foundation and the American Academy of Medical Ethics. The Attorney General has assured the public that even if this version of the law is struck down, the legislature will amend it to meet the court's requirements. National student debt has now risen to $1.5 trillion. The average bachelor's degree recipient in 2016 graduated with around $29,000 of student loans to pay off. It is predicted that by 2023, 40% of college graduates will default on their student loans. This has led many analysts to predict another market collapse. Reports say that many graduates are unable to get stable jobs in their chosen field, which forces them to take on lower-paying jobs. This leads to students to be unable to pay off their student debts, which continue to accumulate interest. But Preston Cooper, a contributor to Forbes, claims that there is no looming crisis. According to Cooper, the average debt for undergraduate students has not increased significantly over the past decade. Jeffrey Dorfman, another Forbes contributor, says the amount of student debt being incurred may actually be a sign of good things because it means more people are choosing to invest in a college education. This will eventually prove to be a net gain for the students and the economy. Still, some former students turned workers are wondering whether it's worth it to spend the next 20 or 30 years of their lives paying off loans.
On the 3rd of May, the Kilauea volcano in Pahoa, Hawaii released a cloud of gas and toxic stem. The toxic cloud could spread 18 miles southwest. The volcano's gas and lava had taken over 37 homes, forcing about 2,000 residents to evacuate the area. The lava from the volcano spread to Highway 137 and then followed into the Pacific Ocean. Hawaiian officials responded to reports of lava almost hitting the geothermal plant, which could have caused more damage.
On Sunday, May 13th, Isaac Lopez, a teen from Vacaville, California, was shot in the chest near the beach boardwalk in Santa Cruz. Lopez was treated on the scene but later on died at Dominican Hospital. Lopez was in a parked car with 3 others who police say were taken into custody after the shooting. Police said that Javier Calvo, one of the teens who was in the car, was the one who held the gun that shot Lopez. Police believe the shooting was an accident, but they are investigating further. Calvo was taken into Santa Cruz County Jail the day before the death of the 19-year-old. There was a stabbing at the boardwalk. Police believe that the incidents are not related.
On May 16th, one of the members from Migos, Offset, was involved in a car crash. The rapper wrecked his car in an auto collision Wednesday night in Atlanta. There were no emergency units called to the scene, but he was taken to the hospital. Fortunately, the rapper suffered minor injuries and was released from the hospital that same night. It is unclear whether anybody else was involved in this incident, and authorities said no accident report was taken. Offset is said to be okay and will be healthy enough to perform with the rest of the trio for their tour with Drake this summer.
On May 15, an explosion at a medical office in Aliso Vallejo, California, 50 miles south of Los Angeles, killed 1 and injured 3 others. The explosion took place when Indico Crankjack, a 48, opened a box. Indico was a licensed cosmetologist born in Hungary. Remains of an explosive device were found by investigators. 2 customers were injured and a 3rd victim was treated for smoke inhalation.
On Tuesday, May 8th, a series of earthquakes hit California. Two small earthquakes hit north of the city of Cabezon around 8 a.m. The first quake had a magnitude of 4.5, while the second was recorded at a magnitude of 3.2. The third earthquake hit a couple miles down south a couple hours later around 10 a.m. The magnitude of that earthquake was 2.5. 12 hours earlier, two earthquakes were recorded down south. One was 50 miles north of the Mexico border and east of Ocotillo Wells. The magnitude of that quake was also a 2.5. Another 4.5 magnitude hit the Pacific Ocean 56 miles west of Ferndale. Quakes between 2.4 and 5.4 are frequent. There are about 30,000 a year.
Retired NBA star Matt Barnes had some comments on the morning of May 2nd regarding rapper Kanye West's controversial support of the United States President Donald Trump. Barnes said he doesn't believe anything Kanye said, adding some choice of words about West's statements. West claimed that on live TV broadcasts of TMZ that slavery was a choice by saying, "When you hear about slavery for 400 years, that sounds like a choice." Kanye also released a track with rapper T.I. talking about his political views. Matt Barnes said he hopes the old Kanye West comes back. After winning the Super Bowl, Eagles running back Jay Ajayi rented a mansion for 5 days. He is now being sued after the owner claimed the Eagles running back trashed the house and shoved him. Ajayi allegedly hosted 3 parties, although the contract prohibited them. Jay was charged for $5,000 for each party. Fees were also tacked on for scratched floors, a broken table, and violating the no smoking rule, according to the homeowner. The owner claims that Ajayi didn't pay the fines, and when he confronted Ajayi, the Eagles player allegedly pushed him. Ajayi denied these claims, saying that he and his friends left before the planned 5 days were up, and that they paid the full price of the rental. Ajayi also denied that the assault claims.
On Sunday, May 22, Norteño gang members were arrested after they were seen unloading a stolen Honda dirt bike on Byron and Chaucer Street. Dennis Ortiz and Eric Ortiz were arrested. One of them was on parole and the other one had several warrants for his arrest from the Monterey County Jail. The officers returned the dirt bike and the men are being held in Monterey County Jail. On Friday, May 18, Gustavo Alonso, a known gang member, was arrested in Salinas by Monterey County SWAT team. Alonso was arrested after the SWAT team received warrant to search a house on Northridge Drive for weapons and drugs. The SWAT team then called Alonso out of the house and he stepped out onto the backyard with a handgun. Alonso eventually put the handgun down and was arrested. After the search, police found an illegal assault rifle and 6.5 ounces of methamphetamine drugs.
On May 18th, the Santa Cruz County Sheriff's deputies were involved in a shooting near Paradise Park at the street of Ocean Street Extension. During the shootout, one deputy was shot, but they were later released from the hospital. The county sheriff was patrolling around 3:30 a.m. Friday when they saw 2 people inside a red car. When the deputies were randomly attacked, they all opened fire. The county sheriff, SGT Brian Cleveland, does not know how the violence started. On Friday morning at 7:30 a.m., Santa Fe High School in Texas went into complete lockdown after shots were reported. 17-year-old Demetrius Pagortzis walked into the high school with a loaded Remington 870 short-barreled shotgun and a .38 caliber Rosie revolver. The shooter killed 10 people and wounded 13 others. 4 minutes after the shooting began, 2 officers showed up and began exchanging gunshots with Pagortzis. Pagortzis was ultimately taken into custody and was charged with murder and assault. In addition to the shooting, pipe bombs filled with gunpowder and cricket bombs containing carbon dioxide cartridges were found on campus. 2 other suspects are being questioned.